Hey everyone, so I wanted to do this demo of the Memento Luxe cardstock ink pad. This is one of the ones that I showed in my little haul that was with a project share. This is the wedding dress white, and Memento Luxe ink is for mixed media, so it's got a longer drying time. If you just use the plain ink stamped onto your paper, you want to let it dry for a long time or use your heat gun. And I'm going to be using my heat gun because TryHeart67, Vicki, she wanted to see this demoed, and she asked me if you can emboss with it. So I'm going to try that too, and we'll see the results. I have not actually tried it with embossing powder yet. I've only done it as a stamp image. So what I'm going to use is these inks are really supposed to be good for these types of stamps where you have a background. And so this is a Technique Tuesday Ali Edwards stamp set that I have, and it is called Beautiful. Yeah, so this is from 2013. And I'm using this Remember and the Today, so you can see how they both look together. So this is a background stamp, and then this is one with just the arrow and the word. So I'm gonna stamp it actually out on two pieces of paper. I'm gonna use the Kraft cardstock that I have, and this actually is cut from a larger 12 by 12 piece of paper. I get my 12 by 12 Kraft cardstock from Hobby Lobby. That's where this came from. And then I'm going to stamp it out on a black piece of cardstock, and this is just what you get from a matte stack, and they usually have them in different colors as a set. So I'm going to use those two pieces, and I've got my acrylic block already set up. Make sure I have it the right way up here so you can see that. And let me try this out. So I suspect this is probably going to go on really well because I've used this with a stamp before. Not these particular stamps, but you can see the white inking, and I'm just inking it up really well. Of course, I just did that. Can't believe I did that. Try not to make a mess here on my desk. Okay, so I've got the thing closed. So now I'm just going to stamp my image here in the corner, down on the Kraft, and here it is, and hopefully you can get this in this shot really good. Let's see if I can have it focus. So that is the white on the Kraft, and I don't know if I inked it well enough, but you get the idea. And I'm showing you, I'm kind of turning the paper so you can see how wet it is. And let me go ahead and dry it. Sorry for the noise, guys. Okay, so here is the dried image, and I'm putting my hand in it to see if I can smudge it. And it's picking up a little bit of it, so it may not be dry just yet, but I want you all to be able to see that. So let me turn the camera. There we go. So those are the two stamps, and then I'm going to do it on black. So let me just ink up my stamp again. I'm trying not to press too hard, but I think I did, down onto my stamp because it's kind of filling in here, so I'm going to try not to press it too much. And I'm going down on the cardstock, so let me make sure you can see that. Okay, so here is the white on the black. And you can see that really well. Both of them turned out really well, I think. And again, it's still wet, so let me go ahead and dry it. Okay, so here it is again, after I've dried it. So you can see that it looks like a chalkboard, really. And I'm putting my finger in it to see if I can smudge it. And that's not going anywhere. Here's my finger so you can see if there's any residue. That looks pretty good to me. I don't know about you guys, how you feel about it, but you know, it's personal preference, and again, it's all in your technique too. I may not be doing this as well because I'm on camera. I like how this turned out. This looks really good. This I'm not, you know, all that happy with. I would like it to be whiter, but it could be in the pressure that I put down on it. So here's the two stamps together. Let's see if I can get them in frame here. And now I'm going to do it with some of this Judikins embossing powder in Psycodelic, and it is like a white with purple. You can see the little glittery accents of purple in there. So I'm going to try that on the black piece of cardstock, and we'll see how well that does. So I'm just putting down a piece of paper so that when I spread my embossing powder, I can return it back to the jar so I don't waste any of it. So I'm just going to ink my stamp up again with the white. And we're going to go down on the cardstock again. And I'm going to put some pressure there. There's the image, and of course I didn't do that as well as I'd liked. There's some extra ink, which is probably due to the fact that I'm trying to do this around my camera. And I'm going to pour some embossing powder on top. And I didn't use my embossing buddy. I probably should have, so none of it sticks, but I think you guys get the point here without me doing that. So let me get that off. This doesn't have to be perfect since I'm not making a card with it or anything. And then I'll return this back to the bottle. And for those of you that are wondering where I got this embossing powder, I got this off of Blitsy when they were having a special. Blitsy.com. They had a special on these Judikins embossing powders. So that's where I got this. And I'm going to heat it so that I get some embossing, and I do mine from the back. That's just my personal preference, and I can already see that turning. Hard to do this on camera, but I think that's done. Okay, so here is the embossed image, and you can see that this only gives it a, it doesn't give you like extra coverage, it gives you more of the purple, you know, glittery effect to it. So you can now see the two together side by side. So that is embossing with these inks, and it does have good coverage there because I can feel that embossing powder going all the way across, and the word remember is still very crisp, as you can see that, and that's cursive. So a lot of times when you have an image, the embossing powder tends to bleed into where the text is. So that is on the black, and let me again do this on the Kraft so you can see the color difference. I don't know if it's going to show up as well. Kind of sloppy with my inking here. Sorry, guys. So that's the stamped image. And I think I did it better this time around, because look how much more inky it is, if that's a word. Here we go. That's going to look really good. I can already tell. And this is just a piece of copy paper I folded in half. So, that's back in the jar, and now we heat set, and again I'll go from the back. Maybe I can show it to you as it's melting. Now this is a little thicker piece of paper. So it may take longer. I think you can see it turning. Oh, that's beautiful. Alright, I think we're almost there. Okay. And my embossing gun is a Martha Stewart embossing gun that I got at Michael's. So here is the embossed image. Let me see if it can focus any better on that. Yeah, it's very crisp. So there you see it. And there's the other regular stamped image that I did first. And you can see the comparison. So I hope that helps, Vicki, and helps you decide whether or not you want to order these ink pads. But I think the Wedding Dress White is probably the one that sells out first, because it's a great you know, embossing ink, because it does stay wet longer. But it's also great for mixed media because it does stay wet longer. So this is a pigment ink, and if anybody has any more questions, please leave a comment below. And thanks for watching. Bye.